so loud. That is unbelievable.
So I'm here with John today, and he has a 2012 Camaro SS that pretty much started out stock, and now he has a gigantic single 88mm turbo put on this thing, and it makes about 700 to the wheel on like a street tune, and then when he takes it to the track, he makes about 1,000, so he turns the boost up. And he ran a 9.1, or was it a 9.2?
930, right?
Or not? Oh no, a 930.
Yep.
What was the mile per hour?
141. So no mile per hour, you know.
Yeah, that's good though, because that means he's hooking. He's doing a 930 at 141.
Yep.
Yeah, he's hooking good.
So that was the first event we took the car to with zero testing. So we did 5 passes before that through qualifying eliminations. Not one of them hooked up, and in the finals it hooked up, but ran out of gear and ended up burning down the trans in the last pass. But we got the win. So.
Tell them what kind of a transmission you're using to run those fast times, John.
So I run it's an RPM transmission. It's turbo 400.
Some of these people don't know what that means.
So,
is that an auto or a set stick?
It's an automatic. It's a torque converter automatic, but you still have to shift it. It has 3 gears, so you go first, second, third, and the whole purpose of it, especially for a turbo car, you don't ever come out of boost, and you just pull all the way through. So
yeah.
Once you put that pedal down, you let go of the button. You better hold on because you're going for a ride.
Now his auto is it's the same concept as like just an automatic transmission. It's all, it doesn't have a clutch. You don't have to push a clutch in, but you do have to change the gear. It has like a little lever, yeah, and it's 3 gears, 1, 2, 3. And your guys are gonna find, the more and more you watch drag racing videos, the more and more you're gonna find transmissions like this, because let's all be honest here, that's how you're gonna run a faster time. That's how you're gonna run a more consistent time. And it's at the end, it isn't about, let's say, how you got there. It's how fast. It's like when you got there, basically. Yeah. Nobody gives a shit about how you got there. It's just that all they care about is that ending time. So that's cool that I have another fellow Camaro owner that appreciates that sort of
anyone can make power. You can just pump a ton of money into a motor, but it takes a lot more than just having a big motor to get down the track.
Yeah, you can have 1,000 horsepower, but if you're running all 10 5s or high 10s, then
you got to get it down the track.
Yep.
And that's the thing, and that's like this thing. It's a monster for the work it has done to it. It flies. There's people out there doing twice as much work running the same exact time.
Yeah, yep.
And this thing's still got more left in it,
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, if I had a manual transmission, I'd be happy to see 10s with a manual.
Yeah, and you'd be driving your ass off too.
Yeah, I would be. Yeah.
There's a lot of work. You have to be that's what my car used to be, a 6-speed, and I said to myself, no matter how much I practice, I'm just not going to be a good driver. I mean, I could drive the car, but can I shift the gears fast enough and launch properly? Probably not. Maybe by the time I'm 60 and have gray hair,
yeah,
I might. But
yeah, so there you go. He converted from a 6-speed to an auto because he knew that was going to get him down the track faster. And in the long run, I mean, really driving a 1,000 horsepower car, well, probably over 1,000 with a manual and on the street, no less. Sometimes, like, I feel like that's just, I don't know. It just doesn't sound fun.
The thing with the auto too is, because it's an automatic and it's kind of sloppy, it's got a real big torque converter in it, so it loses power on the dyno. So that number that you get out of the dyno, it might say 700, but when you compare it to a 6-speed car, that's like an 850, wheel horsepower car. So,
right.
It might say 700, but when you're going down the track, it sure doesn't act like it.
Yeah, exactly, and that makes a big difference too. Guys, it's not all about horsepower. There's a lot of dyno queens, as I like to call them out there, and I think you know what I'm talking about. Like guys that literally just put their car in the dyno and like, oh yep, I made a 1,200 on fucking 30 psi of boost. It's not all about that, because you can go up against a car that has a couple hundred horsepower less, and it's going to spank it down the track because it has all the power where it needs it. So like, I think one of the good things about this car that I've noticed is it has immediate torque. Yeah. And the torque is what helps you get off the line, and really torque is what inevitably wins a race. You know what I mean?
You can have a ton of power, but if you can't 60 foot, and that's where you win the race. You win the race with a good reaction time and with a good 60 foot. And for this thing to 60 foot at 1.5 on 20-inch rim is like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed too. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, is that good? Like, the striving goal is like a 1.4 or something.
Yeah, that's
like really good.
So
Yeah, I mean,
my car is, that transmission has a trans brake, so I leave from a button. You know, I floor it, the car starts shaking, it gets up on the 2-step, shooting flames, let go of the button, and you're off. And I got a 15-inch wheel conversion, so I have a ton of sidewall, so I have everything that helps me hook. And, you know, I haven't done much testing on it, but we got a 1.44 60 foot. So that
that's
showed
good.
This car to 60 foot of 1.5 on 20s compared to my car leaving off a button, all that. Down low, you know, this thing can boogie.
Yeah, the car itself makes that nice torque immediately. So the only thing I'm hesitant to do right now is make even more, because then that could easily affect that nice launch that you have. It's like if I could have a nice launch but more power on the top end, nitrous, something like that. Have it come in after 60, or have it come in after, you know, whatever mile per hour. You know, I mean, you can have, or you can have it gradually coming in. You know, which would be probably essential. The good thing that you have is you have a blower, so they can direct port nitrous right in there.
Right. And then with that, you know, that gives you a lot more tuning. You get a progressive nitrous kit.
Yep.
So, you know, if you're not hooking up at the track, you can delay it and bring it in later. So that gives you more tunability than just your right foot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Instead of having it on when you step on the gas, which is kind of like, all right, well then you're defeating the whole purpose of.
Yeah, you blow the tires off the line with too much power.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no point to having it.
Yeah, your mile per hour is there, but your time isn't. You know what I mean? And like I actually beat my top mile per hour, but I had my time was 0.3 of a second slower, but my mile per hour was higher because I spun, but then I gained it back.
It's less strain on the motor, so the motor can get higher up in the RPM. When you hook real hard, that mile an hour drops because there's so much more load on the motor. Yeah. But you're also traveling that distance quicker, so.
Right. So that's the speed. That's where the time comes in. Yeah.
I mean, that's what so many people think, that drag racing is like, let me just go do a smoky burnout, pull up to the light, and when it turns green, go. Yeah. But I mean, they don't realize all the factors that go into it. I mean, you got to think, you got to have the right tire pressure, the suspension's got to be set right. You know, you got to do the proper burnout so you can't overheat the tires. There's so many things that go into it. Yeah. That's why for a car, or a street car, that's like now. Before, you never used to see fast street cars at the track, but now, I mean, to drive a low 10, high 9-second street car, I mean, it's wild.
Yeah, and I'm comparing like my trap speed was 137. That's the highest I've gotten, and I'm like, okay, I compare that to like other quarter-mile times, and that's a 9-second mile per hour for like a mid 9-second mile per hour. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, well, that's kind of the potential of the car. Really, is how I look at it. You know what I mean? I mean, there's guys running slower times than me, and they're trapping 140s. Like, I mean, and it's just like, because they got a manual, and they are fast, but they're not fast off the line. It's like they're making that up.
And it's just so hard to be fast. Yeah. If you want to be fast at the track and consistent, there's no other option but going automatic. There just isn't.
Yep.
God, this thing still gets me.
I know, it's still built you.
That one got me there. I wasn't ready for it.
What's even funnier is,
want to put the seat down?
Yeah,
I want to put the seat down.
I can't fucking reach it. You got it? I guess you know how to do it because you have a fucking Camaro. This used to be me,
but now my exhaust comes out the front bumper, you know? This is louder than my car was. Mine was cam only, and it was loud, but Jesus. Stock flow-throughs? They're long tubes and then stock flow-throughs?
So yeah, they are long tubes, no cats. After that mid-pipe, it's completely stock mufflers. However, like, I have them open right now. Yeah. That's closed. Okay.
You can't ever close.
That's closed, and this is open. See how like the low end like comes out then? So yeah, no, I never leave them. The only time I close them is if I come home at like 2 a.m. and then I'm like, I kind of feel bad, so I do close them. Or if it's like a long drive and I'm just like, you know what, I'm just not digging this little dronage going on here.
It sounds good for being stock though, like that back half. I had Corsas on mine and they were so loud, but they were loud all the time.
Oh yeah. See how that?
Oh god, it kills me. It shifts so hard. That must freak people out.
Dude, I love it though. I'm getting accustomed to it, but sometimes it's so stupid. It's like sometimes I wish it was just not as hard.
That's great.
So we're getting kind of hungry here, so we're gonna go to Chick-fil-A, obviously. Apparently Chick-fil-A is like the most popular fast food restaurant in the entire U.S. Alrighty, let's go eat. Ah, well that was good. What'd you think? Good Chick-fil-A meal?
Can't go wrong with Chick-fil-A.
No, you really can't. Another thing I learned about Chick-fil-A was more than half of the U.S. population prefers Chick-fil-A over any other fast food restaurant, including McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, In-N-Out Burger for those of you that live in the California area out west. And there's another one. What's another good fast food chain?
Listen, you go down south, you got Bojangles, you got Zaxby's. I mean, it's a fried chicken war down there.
Okay, so the fried chicken ones. But
Chick-fil-A takes it.
I didn't even know that. There's just 2 Chick-fil-A's in this entire area that I live in. And there's probably 20 McDonald's, and I'm so happy that Chick-fil-A is like the preferred method of fast food. It's so great. Have you done any weight reduction at all?
No, that's why they call it the Camaro, dude.
Really?
It weighs a little over 4,200 pounds with me in it, so it's a hippo.
Really?
It's a hippo.
Holy fuck, dude! Mine wasn't weigh that much.
I mean, you got to think the turbo on it weighs like 50 pounds.
Wow, yeah.
So the turbo is actually it's an 8891 Pro Mod turbo.
Okay.
So it's meant to run on like an actual Pro Mod race car.
Well, yours is a completely stock interior car, right?
Oh yeah, it's got everything, you know.
Yeah, see, that's cool.
It's still got back seats. That's why, you know, when people are like, "Do you race that thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I take it to the racetrack." They're like, "You daily that thing?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I get it everywhere.
I can't do anything. This guy's in front of me.
Oh no, this gets it, dude. This gets it. He's a miles per hour through the roof.
Yeah.
I'm like the worst person in a car because I just sit here and smile and laugh.
That's a weird hit. 4th gear.
You're the ballsiest driver on drag radials I've ever seen. I only get in the throttle and it's going dead straight and I don't have to turn for about another mile and you're just like, no, just rip it around this corner.
It's judged upon how cold it is. This is getting to the point where I will not hit it full throttle and anything under 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Because it will spin out. If it was summer, dude, I'd be ripping it.
They hook good, right?
I'd be ripping it immediately, and it would hook good in 2nd gear. But 1st gear is still hairy unless you're on a track.
Yeah. So what's the goal? What's the end game? Something real fast?
The end game's always just I just want to beat my time.
Yeah.
See, I'm to the point now where there's these guys and they're just more concerned about how much horsepower they have rather than how fast the car is. There's a difference between horsepower and being fast, and 100%. Unfortunately, most of the viewers and most of the people don't understand that. And I want to be the one that basically brings that trend back that says,
you know, it's fast.
People are like, oh, so who's running the most horsepower in this group? Somebody just posted that the other day in a ZL1 group. And I was like, and then someone was like, I'm not sure, but here's my time slip. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
How about you show me your time slip?
You gotta think there's so much more than just horsepower when you're going down the track. You know, setup, tune, everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, I think it's a lot. Anyone can make big power. You can go and just buy a big motor and do whatever you want to it. But
it was already loud with headers and no cats.
Yeah.
But
God, the ships get me every time. This car's too much fun. But I definitely want to get you in my car.
Dude, I'd love to drive that thing because well, first of all, I mean, I've drove a turbo car before, but I never drove. I want to drive a transmission like that because if it's something I eventually want to go to, I want to obviously see how it works first.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? I don't want to slap the transmission in my car, pay all the money, and be like, yeah, this kind of sucks to drive around.
That's why I think for this, you can keep this stock look too with going with the 4L80.
Yeah.
I mean, you put it in drive, it's all computer-driven shifts, and the lockup hits on the computer, but your first through third is essentially the same as a Turbo 400.
Right.
So it's like having the best of both worlds. For me, I didn't do that because I wanted to strictly race it and make it as efficient as possible, which, we just slapped a bunch of parts together. I went into my shop, RPM Motorsports, and I said, I want to have, a big turbo, I want a 3-speed auto, and I want to drive it on the street. And I went to them and I said, that's what I want. And they figured out what everything needed to be. And they said, you know, how much do you want to drive it? I said, every day. They said, not with that trans. I said, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, so drivability definitely went out the window.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, if you put that was what we talked about. You put a 4L80 in it, you get that extra gear and you get a converter lockup. So essentially it has 5 gears. You know, take it on the highway, drive it around.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Do smoky burnouts.
Yeah.
You know, everything.
See, this is the loudest you're going to hear this car.
That's so loud. That is unbelievable. Dude, this thing sounds great. Honestly, for like a blower car, I don't think it could sound any better.
This cam is very weird on hills too.
Doesn't like them?
Like if I let off the gas, it's like, like pushing you forward, you know what I mean?
It's called the parking lot surge.
That's what that is.
That's why you got to get it just right when you're going to like a car show, so people think you just got a huge cam in it.
Like, you know? The surge is like, yeah.
That's it. So it's like almost stalls, but it still has enough life to keep chugging, you know?
It does it real bad in reverse. I've actually stalled it.
My car shuts off in reverse.
Does it?
Yeah. It's got a cam in it, like a blower cam, mild, nothing like that.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Honestly, I did luck out. Like when I was looking at stuff for this car, I lucked out a little bit on how everything came together, because not a lot of people can do that like successfully. One, and not have the engine blow, or two, like not make the power they wanted to, or, you know, just have problems. This car has just, it's a combination between my knowledge of the right parts that go in this car and Andy's knowledge of working on LS motors. That's what basically made this car, and it just worked out, and it surprised all of us really on how much it made. Yeah. There are cars out there with similar mods that are making just as much,
but I don't think they have more,
but it's like
drivability.
Right, yeah, there's the drivability and really where the power is on that, where the power comes in at, like, you know, it's almost immediate, like at like 2,500 RPMs, it's like immediate.
That's a ton of power for down low.
Yeah. John's got a channel that he started. How long ago did you start your channel?
I only started it off. I started off over the summer when I first got my car back. So I had a 9-month build where I had a lot of time to think about what I wanted to do, and I was like, hey, I got a pretty sweet street car. Let me make a YouTube channel.
Yeah. So, John is going to be making videos of his Camaro, and he just bought a new truck.
Great ride.
So, like I was saying, John's got a channel, and he's going to be doing videos on his truck, his Camaro, and he's very into drag racing, as you guys have already heard in this video.
World record right here. World's fastest stock cubic inch Camaro.
Camaro SS or just general Camaro, like that generation?
Camaro SS, yeah, 5th gen.
5th gen SS.
World's fastest stock cubic inch, so it's still got the 6.2 liter in it. Yep. And I take it to class, to the drive-through, you know, sits out in front of my house, and it whoops ass on the track. Yeah,
that's cool. So, any type of a world record is cool in my book. So we're going to be drag racing next year. Once he finishes his car, we're going to be doing some videos, obviously, of that.
Getting you in the car.
That's right. I'm going to be driving that thing.
We're going to watch Nick shit his pants.
1,000 horsepower, single turbo. I'm going to experience this 3-speed auto that he raves about.
That's it, I'm telling you.
And he's going to be doing videos on the, basically the I guess the rebuild really of your Camaro, like the fixing of it.
Yeah,
like,
right now the transmission's out of it. We won an event and we hurt some parts doing it, so we're putting a cage in it now, racing seats, the transmission's out of it. The converter's back at Yank, who's hooking me up with a good one, so I mean...
So there you go. You can watch me build mine in my garage, you can watch him build his in his garage, and then in the springtime, we're going to race, we're going to have fun, and we're pretty much going to beat everybody with a manual transmission, so...
That's it. No one... I actually made a video, I said no one will ever beat me with a manual trans. So if you're out there and you think, like, you're the man in a manual, like, stop. Don't even comment, because I'll just mess you up.
Dude, these guys comment all the time, thinking I'm like a pussy because I drive auto, or like...
I had a manual, and, you know, it's fun on the street. It's cool to rev it up at a stoplight, but...
I do understand, like, the point of a manual, like, if you're going to do a lot of road courses or you're going to, like, race, I mean, it's good for that. But even then, dude, now these autos, these paddle shifting autos, dude, they are fast. That's why all these supercars don't have a clutch. They don't have any sort of shifter here. It's all with the paddles, and they're all dual clutch, and they're all fast because they realize, these companies are realizing, we have this technology to make these cars even faster and really to make it safer too. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. You can really appreciate a car when you drive it with, you know, with a stick, and you have good gear shifts and it's enjoyable. You can't beat an automatic. You really can't.
They've just gotten too good. We have too much technology now, and they shift too fast, and you can maximize power and everything. You take the human error out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Any human error you can take out of it will greatly improve your trap speed or your
drag
ET,
racing
whatever.
consistency is huge.
Yeah.
That's why you can have a real fast 6-speed car, but you miss one shift.
Yeah, you could have hooked the best ever. You could have had the best 60-foot time, and you missed third gear, and you're like, wow, that runs poop. Either way, go check his channel out. I'm going to put all that in the description. I'll put a link to his channel and help him out. He's actually just starting out, and he wants to get his videos out there. He wants to make some build videos for his Camaro and stuff like that. As far as my Camaro goes, the only really updates I have for you guys is winter's coming, so it's going to be put back in the garage for a little while, but I am going to be doing a lot of work on it this winter, and a lot of it has to do with the drag strip and the safety equipment, proper safety equipment that needs installed in this car. As far as more power into this car, I do have plans of that, but not just yet. But I will make another video on basically my winter plans for this car. The Jeep is still at Andy's. He is fixing it right now. He's fixing all of the mechanical issues that have to go along with that. Be sure to follow all my social media. All of that will be in the description. Send me stuff in my P.O. box. All of that is in the description as well. Hit that subscribe button. Have a great day.